Hello, my name is Chantanu. I am currently studying in the second year of BA LLB, and today I will be presenting upon the topic of mutation and record of rights and various questions surrounded to it. So without any further delay, let's get started. I would like to thank Ageless Legal for giving this wonderful opportunity to me. Now we will discuss this topic with reference to various questions. So let's discuss them one by one. Our first question is, what exactly is mutation? Now, when we talk about mutation, mutation has two meanings. First one is a legal meaning with respect to property law, and the second is literal meaning, what it actually means in English. So in English, it basically means change. You must have heard in this pandemic that the COVID-19 goes through several mutations. So its genetic form changes from time to time. So that mutation basically means change. Now, if we attach legal dimension to it, so in property law, in real estate laws, if a property has been transferred from one person to another, then it has to be mutated. That is, you have to tell the government agencies that the ownership has been changed from one person to another. So the mutation is the acknowledgement of change in the ownership of property. That's the perhaps the most simplest definition of what mutation actually is. So mutation is nothing but the acknowledgement of the fact that the ownership of property has been changed from one person to another. Now this mutation is a process, and mutation happens on the record of rights. Now what are these record of rights? Record of rights are government records. For example, municipality keeps certain records with reference to various properties. Then the land revenue department keeps records related to lands, various lands. So these records, they are called as record of rights, and on these record of rights, this mutation happens. So when these record of rights, they get updated, that is called as mutation. So mutation is the process of updating these record of rights as per the new changes. So that's mutation. Now the second question regarding this, and it's a very frequently asked question, that whether this mutation is a valid proof for title on that property or not. Now let's understand this in with reference to an example. Now let's say there is one property, survey number 101. Now this property belongs to X. X is the owner of this property, and now X sells this property to Y. Okay, now now X follows all the legalities of selling this property. He gets the sale deed registered in favor of Y. He pays the proper stamp duty has been paid on that registration of sale deed, and all of that happened. All the legalities of transferring that property have happened. All the legalities have happened. Now there are two documents. First is the record of rights of that property. Let's say it's an agricultural land in Maharashtra, so it has 712 extract for it, and there is sale deed. So on the 712 extract, there is owner is X, but on the sale deed, X has sold this property to Y. So now there are two documents showing two different owners for the same property on that same date. So on that same date, who is the real owner of property? Because two different documents are showing two different owners of that property. So now a very simple answer to this question is Y has become the owner of property. But why? That's important. Why? So Y has become property because Y has become the owner of that property because the sale deed, when it gets executed fully in the favor of Y, at that very moment the process of transferring property gets completed. there is nothing more left. It doesn't matter whether you have updated your mutation records or not. The transfer of property has happened. The transfer of property has happened, and now Y on that date has become the owner of that property, even though the record of rights are showing that X is the owner of property. Having said that, it is a legal obligation of Y to update the mutation record, update the record of rights, that is to mutate property on his name. So it is the legal obligation, but that does not stop the process of transfer. The process of transferring property has already happened when the registration of sale deed comes into place. And this has been reiterated by the Supreme Court of India again and again in various judgments, landmark judgments, that the mutation entries or the record of rights are not the valid proof of title. They do not confer title to you. Valid proof of title, they are always your transfer deeds, let it be a sale deed or gift deed or whatever it is. But or even if you inherit that property with reference to succession laws and all of that. But record of rights are not the valid proof of title. Now this brings us to our third question. If these record of rights, or if this cumbersome process of mutating property on my name is not giving me title of that property, then why this process is necessary at all? Why should I go through all of this? Again, the answer to this question has two dimensions. The first is from the government's point of view, that is why mutation is necessary. Why should one mutate his property? And another answer to this same question is from a lawyer's point of view, from a point of view of a client. Now let's understand first what is government's point of view. So government has to take tax on several properties for his earning. For government's earning, government has to take tax. Then government keeps the record of all these properties. Now this record has the name of owners of these properties. It's very obvious that government will take tax from owners and from no one else. Owners will pay the tax, or who will else pay the tax? Owners will pay the tax. So owners are liable to pay the tax on that property. Hence government keeps records of their names and their respective properties. This is known as a record of rights. Now why mutation is necessary? To fix the liability of tax paying. Who will pay the tax? So if the owner had changed, you have to tell government agencies that now the owner had changed, now the liability of tax paying has been shifted from one person to another. So for fixing this tax liability, the mutation is extremely important. Now let's come to the second point of view, that is from the point of view of a lawyer or a client. So now whenever someone has to buy any property, he has to properly do the title due diligence of that property, whether that property has a clear marketable title or not. This question has to be answered properly, because there is a huge investment going into purchasing that property. Now for the title due diligence, the perusal of these record of rights, 712 extract or other such documents, municipal records if it is a flat or something like that, then perusal of mutation entries and perusal of record of rights gives you a broad outline of the nature of that property, how that property has come to this present owner, from one owner to another, and the line of that property. And then whether that property has some encumbrances or not, is there any other issue involved in that property or not. So all of this you will get to know all of this with a simple perusal of relevant record of rights for that property. and that's why record of rights are extremely important, and hence record of rights should be updated, because this helps a lot to a lawyer when he prepares his search report for any property, and for client also, if he has to make a safe investment into buying any property, then he has to ensure that the title for that property is clear and marketable, because if X has a faulty title, then he cannot transfer any better title to Y. If X has a faulty title, X will transfer faulty title to Y, and Y will also get faulty title. So Y is at risk. So to mitigate this risk, updating your record of rights via the process of mutation is extremely important. So this is from the client's or lawyer's point of view, and from the government's point of view for fixing the tax liability on that property. Now we will come to our next question, that is this process of mutation same throughout India? Now the answer for this question is no. Why? Because in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India, this keeping municipal records or keeping records for land revenue, all these topics, they come in the state list in this 7th schedule. So there are different laws governing this process of mutation in different states. So broadly speaking, the process of mutating your property is similar but not same. It definitely differs from state to state and in details. So when it comes to details of this process of mutating your property, it differs from state to state, but broadly speaking, the process is similar. Now we will come to the final question, that is, what is the difference between registration and mutation? So that's basic actually. The registration of property is when you prepare a sale deed of something or any other deed, and when you registered that sale deed with sub-registrar of that area. And mutation, as I already said, is that you let the government know that look, this ownership has been changed now with the process of registration of this particular document. Now on this basis of registration, update the record of rights. So that is called as mutation. That is, you are telling the government that I have now registered this sale deed on my name. Now update these records as per this deed. Now registration is governed by the Registration Act, and mutation is governed by various other laws with regards to states. In Maharashtra, it is governed, if it is an agricultural land, it is governed by the Maharashtra Land Revenue Code, and it's very famous in Maharashtra, the 712 extract. And in other states also, this has different names. In Bihar, it is called as Dakhil Kharij. In some north states, it is called as Khazra Khatoni, and there are many other names. And various municipalities also keep these record of rights with regards to different kinds of properties. So for all kinds of properties, especially they are immovable properties, there are record of rights, and there is a process of mutation which is for updating these record of rights, because as discussed earlier, it helps government to fix the tax liability and to get a clear understanding of that property, for what it is actually. I hope you must have understood what is mutation and what is record of rights, and we have questions surrounded to it. And that's it from my side. Thank you so much for watching.